We're now going to look at finding percentages without a calculator. To do this, you really only need two things. You need to find 1% and 10%, and then you make up anything else using these two. Let's take 420 as an example. To find 1% of anything, you divide it by 100. So if you do 420 divided by 100, you get 4.2. So 1% is 4.2. If you want to find 10% of anything, you divide it by 10. So if you want to find 10% of 420, we're going to do 420 divided by 10, and that gives us 42. So 10% of 420 is 42. Now that we know these two, we can find anything else. For example, if we want to find 20%, what we can say is, well, if you get 10% and double it, you must have 20%. So in this example, 10% is 42. So if I do 42 and double it, I get 84. So 20% of 420 is 84. To find 5%, what I can say is, well, if I know what 10% is and I half it, I must end up with 5%. So for this example, 10% is 42. So to find 5%, I'm going to do the 10% and divide it by 2. And I find 5% is 21. Another way I could have done this is find 1% and then times it by 5. And if I do 4.2 and times it by 5, I also get 21. To find 50% of anything, the easiest way is just dividing the whole thing by 2. So in this example, 420, if I divide that by 2, I get 210. So 50% of 420 is 210. Alternatively, I could have said I know what 5% is, and if I times that by 10, that would give me 50%. Well, 5% we worked out earlier was 21. If I times that by 10, I would get 210. To find 17.5%, what you can do is get 10%, add on another 5%, and then add on 2.5%, because that would make up 17.5%. 10% we know from earlier is 42. 5% we also know is 21. If you want 2.5%, you can say, well, that is half of 5%. So if I half the 5%, I would get 2.5% is 10.5. And if I add the 3 together, I get my answer of 73.5. So 17.5% is 73.5. To find 37%, I could do 20% plus another 10% plus another 5% plus another 1% and then another 1%, because that would give me 37%. 20% we know is 84. 10% we know is 42. 5% we know is 21. 1% we know is 4.2. And another 1% is another 4.2, which when you add it all together would give you a grand total of 155.4. So this is what 37% of 420 is. We're now going to look at working out percentages with a calculator. This is much easier. All you need to do is get 1% and then times it by what you need. So if we take our magic number of 420, 1%, we divide it by 100, and we get 4.2. Because we know 1% is 4.2, then 12.47% must be 12.47 lots of this. So if we do 12.47 lots of 4.2, we get 43.3956. Percentage increase, all we need to do is work out the percentage first and then add it on. So if you want to work out 18% of 60, well, 1%, I'm going to divide it by 100 and I get 0.6. That's 1% of 60. So 18% is 18 lots of this. So 18 times 0.6 is 10.8. Because I'm increasing, I'm going to add on the 10.8 to 60 and I get 70.8. Percentage decrease is very similar, but what we're going to do is find the percent and then take it off. So still looking at 60, 1% is 0.6. 12% is 12 lots of this. So if we do 0.6 times 12, we get 7.2. And then what we want to do is decrease the 60 by 12%, which is 7.2. So we're going to do 60, take away the 7.2, and we're left with 52.8.